now I'd like to ask you a specific question about China. A lot of people have argued that we're sort of in a codependent relationship with China right now, that the two biggest beneficiaries of globalization, of the process of globalization, are the United States and China, and that we have the most, together, we have the most to gain and to lose. How do you see the relationship evolving right now?
I think it's pretty codependent in the sense that we don't understand each other, and it's a relationship that is probably doomed for therapy at some point pretty soon.
That's a good way to...
Yeah, no, psychologically speaking, I mean, you know, we have a country that's becoming increasingly very powerful and has a bit of a chip on its shoulder in terms of its fundamental right to industrialize at the level that the United States has, even though that's going to be unsustainable for itself and globally. And we have a United States that has been putting an enormous amount of effort over decades in supporting an international financial economic trade system that benefits the U.S. and the West. Now increasingly is starting to say not so sure how much we benefit from that. And how do these guys deal with each other? There's no question there's an enormous amount of economic coupling that continues to exist between the United States and China. The Chinese cannot afford for the United States to fall apart, at least not in the near term. The Chinese, the Americans cannot afford for the Chinese to stop buying our stuff. But there's been a significant political decoupling that's occurred, and I think it's growing. And I think you see that with Chinese nationalism, and you see that with the willingness of the Chinese to support the United States and proactively in the G20. And that is going to be more problematic. It'll also be more problematic because under Bush, the Secretary of Treasury had for over a year his top priority as the U.S.-China strategic economic dialogue. I assure you, you will not have that level of prioritization or that level of coordination of policy in the Obama administration. And I think that will make the U.S.-China relationship look more dysfunctional, irrespective of how much goodwill there is.
Will we see dysfunction in the security area? I mean, there are various ways things could go better or worse, vis-a-vis North Korea, issues in the region.
You will,
or are those separate? Is that a separate track?
I think you're going to see dysfunction in the security area, but interestingly, not on those issues. Not in the ones that we've been worried about. I mean, right. Taiwan is kind of gone as an issue. China gets them because all the Taiwanese are living in China right now. They're doing very well economically. It integrates North Korea. The Chinese actually helped the United States get to a resolution, a deal such as it is, with the North Koreans the U.S. would not have gotten by itself. The challenge I see from a security perspective on China is things like the extraordinary number of cyber attacks coming from China into the Pentagon, into the Department of Commerce, that the U.S. is increasingly quite concerned about. It would be the desire and efforts by Chinese nationals to get a hold of sensitive technology and smuggle it out of the country. And many have been caught doing that in their various transit. Those sorts of issues are likely to become more important, especially as the U.S. starts to feel a little bit less confident about its own trajectory.